Hello, this is Michael Wojcik with the City Council update for, let's say, June, July, pretty much the whole summer. Apologize for not putting many of these out there lately. We are anxiously awaiting our second child, so spending a lot of time doing that. And I like to wait until meetings are over, until I've calmed down a little bit sometimes to make these videos, and in some cases it just takes a couple months. I'm going to talk to you basically about four things today. Street tree ordinance has been tested now a few times and continues to stand up. The Zietlows, who are the owners of Quick Trip, did not want to have to plant trees in the boulevards with their development, and they proposed several streets just having absolutely no trees in direct conflict with the street tree ordinance. And they felt that it was an unnecessary burden on them, and I guess the community for the most part disagrees, and they made no headway. They made a claim that by having to plant trees they were going to walk away from this $8 million development, to which I frankly call BS, and I continue to say BS. It's just the way it's going to be now. We've elevated the community standards, and having high standards is not necessarily a bad thing. Where it stands right now is we're going to look at the applicability of the street tree ordinance, but we're also going to go back and potentially evaluate specific locations when individual buildings comes out, which is fine, but the whole idea is that you have two major pedestrian routes there that are going to be shaded by street trees, and they haven't been before. And trust me, in this hot weather, it makes a huge difference having street trees and shades for pedestrians and cyclists. Also want to discuss all the prostitution things that have been going on in our city, and human trafficking is very real right here. Prostitution tends to be the human face on sex trafficking, and it is very real in Rochester. There have been a number of stings and busts to go along with this, and what's particularly frustrating to me is that we've had a business owner who doesn't really want to play ball, and it's really frustrating. We had two places, two Asian massage parlors that were busted at the same time. Two different owners. One of the owners said, okay, talk to the police and we're going to evict them right away. With the other one, the owner basically told the police, times are tough. I'm not going to take any action. And I mean, we'll eventually get them when it works its way through the court system. But essentially we have this building owner, Dennis Wiestrand, who's basically making money off the place that was offering prostitution services because he wants to make a buck. And that's not what I think being a part of a community should be. So I'm going to continue. I've talked to Dennis Wiestrand. I'm going to continue to pressure him. I'm going to talk to his building tenants, and I'm not going to stop until he shuts down this place of prostitution. Now, I think the building owner, the business owner, in my opinion, and this one is probably also a victim in this, but it doesn't change the fact that there's a business in there that was busted for prostitution, and the building owner's not willing to do anything about it. We as a city can't really shut them down at this point. Eventually, I think we'll be able to, but a responsible building owner could do it, and the building owner right now is choosing not to do it, so let's apply some community pressure. Washington Village came and went, and it passed by a 4-3 margin. I was a little bit stunned at some of the flip-flopping that went on at the City Council. The proposal was basically the same thing they brought forward last year, which failed 7-0, but some things have changed since then, and it's both Sandra Means and Randy Staver voted to allow it to go through, even though it was a 100% concentration of low-income housing in an area that was already a concentration of low-income housing. I think this is really disappointed. I think it hurts our community in the long run. So it is what it is, and my hope is the MHFA or some other group's going to step in and say, you know what, this probably isn't right. I think there are some reasonable neighbors that were willing to work with them, but what they wanted is what Mr. Weiss promised a long time ago, and that was a building that was a mix of mixed income and market rate. And that is particularly important because market rate, if you have market rate, the building has to be nice enough that people choose to live there. Whereas if there's subsidies there, it's just where people go because they don't really have the choice. And we can create a building that's much more stable in the long run by having a mix of incomes there, even a mix of uses. And we can have an attractive building too, which I don't believe any of these really describe what's going to be going on for Washington Village's second phase. Hopefully we can do better in the future. But something positive did come from that. for years now I've been trying to get staff to move on actually developing standards for when we can when we'll give letters of support and when we'll give tax increment financing or other sorts of assistance to projects, and we've never had any standards in place. And if they're asking the taxpayer for extra support or extra dollars or something, we deserve to get something great in response, and we haven't always done that. I mean, I can point to a number of projects which are actually pretty pathetic in the city of Rochester. Actually, I don't think Washington Village is probably among the better of the projects that I don't particularly care for, but take a look at Cascade Creek. Every project could be done to that quality level, and that's, by the way, is the one on Civic Center and 6th Avenue. And but as long as we have this battle of low standards versus higher standards, we're going to keep getting some mediocre buildings done. And I try to be very much on the side of higher standards for our community. So, but we did have a discussion at the Committee of the Whole today, and we do have some standards coming forward for when we would give us some guidance for when we would actually support projects, whether it be through a letter of support or financial means. And the interesting thing here is letters of support are actually worth more probably than the money we give, because now they score these projects at the state level. So one of the actions that we took, we had some initial discussions. I think there are some very good things in there. It's a good starting point, but I'm also asking that the materials be sent to the Olmsted County HRA, the Olmsted County Human Rights Commission, the Committee on Urban Design and the Environment, Heritage Preservation Committee, and the Rochester Area Foundation for some additional comments as well. Senator Means asked that it be sent to the Rochester area builders, and I guess I wasn't too concerned that they wouldn't be seeing it anyway. So we'll see what their position on it is. I think it's pretty reasonable stuff, but we'll see what they think. So in a nutshell, that's what I've been up to for the last 2 months, and getting ready for my soon-to-be second child. One last thing, it's last weekend was Pride Fest in Rochester, and I just wanted to say thank you again to all the folks out at Pride Fest. I was actually presented an award, a Friend of the Family Award, by the Gay and Lesbian Community Services of Southeastern Minnesota. In part for my role that I had in passing the domestic partner ordinance here. But what I'd say is, first and foremost, to the members of the community and those that gave me this award, I very much appreciate it. You have my support with or without awards, and I say I look forward to a day where supporting equality and fairness for all of our citizens doesn't merit an award. I think that's good. I think that day will come. We've got our challenges now, but so long as there's constituency that I represent, I want to make sure that I'm a voice for all of them. And I had a fun time out there, Pride Fest with you all, and thank you so much for your support, and I'll keep doing my best to work hard on your behalf. As always, if you have questions, feel free to contact me at votewojak.org, or my email address is votewojak@gmail.com. And I do look forward to your questions, and I believe if you contacted me before, I respond to absolutely everything, whether I agree or disagree. Other than that, stay cool. It's been hot out there, and enjoy the rest of your summer. Thanks.